With fears of a meat shortage and people being limited to how much they can buy, going to that aisle of the grocery store may have to look a little different for a while. The Valley Today's Abby Furchner is live with NDSU's Meat Sciences Department to talk about low-cost options and what you can look for at this time. Good morning, Abby.
Yeah, good morning, Jordan. With that meat shortage fear, there are some things, though, that you can still get that will still taste just as delicious on the grill. And that's why I'm here with Spencer Wirt, who is the Meat Lab manager. And okay, we're going to start with the lowest cost options. What are some things people can still grill up this season?
Yeah, so Eric went out shopping yesterday and found some different things throughout the town of Fargo. We have it spread out here, like you said, lowest cost to most expensive. And there's a few items on this low cost spectrum that some people might not be familiar with. And the first I want to start off with is the pork shoulder steak. Comes out of the Boston butt. Most of the time you are familiar with Boston butt as being turned into pulled pork, but if we cut it into a steak against that blade bone, against that shoulder bone, you can throw it at high heat, grill it at high heat, and then take it to medium rare like we should pork all the time, and it turns into an awesome cut. Another cut that actually comes from the Boston butt. Boston butt's really really versatile. You can use it for a lot of different things. These are called country style ribs. This is something that you're going to want to barbecue, slow roast, cook it like you would a rack of ribs, back ribs, spare ribs, whichever, and turns into a nice flavorful pork. Moving on up, we have a eye of round roast, and that is something that a lot of people probably aren't familiar with.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Something like that it comes from the rounds. It's going to be a little tougher. We're going to want to use some marination, which we'll get to later on this morning on the best way to prep something like that. Moving on down, tri-tip. Hopefully everybody's familiar with that by now. It's an awesome, delicious cut. Ground beef, that's the one thing that you're going to see pricing all over the board. The beef market right now is crazy. Yeah. Just know that there is still some options for cheaper side of ground beef, depending on where you go, where you get it from, but that's the one variable right now that you're going to see prices.
So maybe go towards pork more for right now, ground beef a little later?
Well, like on the end of that table we have a ribeye, and that was priced at $9.99, $8.99, I think, which is still a reasonable, cheap price for a ribeye steak. So things are kind of weird right now, but you definitely can find some cheap cuts out there. There just might not be what you're familiar with.
Right. There's so many different options, but of course we're going to show you here in just a few minutes how you can tenderize and cook those pork chops. You might have never maybe grilled those before. You're unfamiliar with them. Well, we'll get you familiar so you can definitely throw those on the grill this year.
Yeah, try something new this summer. I'm loving it. Abby Furchner reporting live. Thank you very much.